is I'm going to play some footage here. This is one of the raw POV sessions from a day at Big Second Reef Pipe. Basically, I'm going to tell you what's going through my head, the decisions I'm making, why I'm sitting where I'm sitting, how I'm positioning in the crowd, all of that, why I choose a specific wave, and I hope that as I go through it, you guys will be able to pick up little tips and tricks just by seeing how I am experiencing the water and why I make certain decisions. So, just ran out of the yard here, we'll get right into it. Running down the beach. As soon as I run down the beach, I'm just going to go ahead and pause it here for a second. Notice I put my leash on in the yard because I want to be ready if there is a lull in the water. I'm going to be ready for a paddle out at any time. My brother and Ivan are in front of me. They're walking down the beach a little bit ahead of me. Right here I see that a set is coming in already. I know that that set is going to end by the time I get to the water, therefore creating an opening, hopefully by the time I'm halfway out. I tell my brothers, hey, I'm jumping in right here. Notice now where I'm jumping in. White water on either side of where I just hit the water, and there's a rip current pulling directly out. At a beach break where it's a big closeout, a lot of the ocean gets pushed in by a set. The water has to force its way back out, creating a rip current. Nasty if you're trying to get in because you get caught in it and put between a hammer and anvil type situation. If you're paddling out, though, it's a great way to utilize the current to your advantage because that current's going out past the break of the sandbar, and you're going to be able to kind of use it as a slingshot to get through. So I jumped in. You notice I jumped in before anyone, and watch what happens in a minute here. Guess who freaking catches right up to me? This is what I would consider a great paddle out for pipe. Also notice I didn't run all the way down the beach. When you're looking for paddle outs, look for the shortest distance between the beach and getting past the breakwater. It's not necessarily going to be right in front of where you're surfing. At some point there's going to be an easier area. No, I just snuck under that one there. That looked like just getting past the shallow part of the sandbar. And there's John. He jumped in 15 foot behind me and he already caught up to me. He is a crazy paddler. His arms are super long, and I think from being in a wetsuit top when he was younger his whole life, he gained this crazy endurance in paddling. The other guys are still struggling to get out. So we just got out. We're outside Aukai now, and it's kind of a breeze. We just paddle over that soft channel or outside the breaking waves. There's nothing really happening out there. There's no current, and you can kind of just use that paddle as a warm-up, get ready, visualize what you're going to do in the session. As you paddle over, get fired up on waves you're seeing. And here I jumped right into it. Notice the crowd sitting out the back. On days like these, the insiders are usually the best waves. First wave, looking for a warm-up wave. A great success. It's always nice to start off a session with a wave that you make. But here's the problem with catching an insider at pipe. You put yourself in a position to get caught inside if there's a bigger one behind. And so I want to go ahead and pause that duck dive right there because I think this is really cool. This is almost a perfect duck dive on if you're paddling out, the lip is going to land in front of you, taking advantage of that second shock wave. Lip lands, explodes again, and breaks again. So you know if you duck dive here, you're going to get through out the back. But most people don't know there's a secondary explosion that you can time. So you don't want to be right where the lip's landing and get exploded. You want to be a couple feet in front of that, maybe 5 feet in front of where that lip lands. It's going to explode again. Watch how fast I pop up here, even though the lip landed directly in front of me. Boom, under, clear water, straight to the surface. That way if you can avoid the entire violent part of where that lip just landed and avoid some exhaustion as well. Someone's getting barreled. You can see here I'm just hunting that inside. That was a kind of a teepee angled out to sea, but these days when everyone's a little scared of getting caught inside, they end up too far out. And that's another thing I want to tell you guys to start just getting into your head and give it some thought. Just because people are sitting where they are, maybe a pack is sitting there, does not mean that's where the best waves are. Maybe one guy paddled out there and he didn't know where to sit and the rest followed him. I want you guys to break away from that mentality when surfing. you could come to a beach break and see a better peak, but there's people out at the other one and be like, maybe that's where the best waves are, I'm going to go there. When in reality, you could have surfed at another peak by yourself, caught in way more waves, and had an absolute blast. So that's kind of the reason we sit on the inside here. Those guys sitting out the back, they're most likely going to miss those inside double ups. And at pipe on days like this, those inside double ups can be 10 foot solid from the beach, and most of the time the best waves of the day are on that inside. There's looks like possibly Wakita rolling in from out the back. Yeah, spooky because of the backwash. This day had a bank, so a little added technicality to what is already the most chaotic lineup in the world is you have 6 foot backwashes coming back out, and just look at that, boom, a 6 foot backwash meets an 8 foot pipe wave and it's below. So obviously you do not want to see that paddling into a wave, but you do want to take note at all times of a shock wave from the wave before, or backwash that's just heading out that could possibly mess you up on the drop. Just better to not go on those. You want to maximize risk versus reward, and avoiding backwash is a good way to do that. Doing some singing here. That's another thing is when you're out there, you guys know how it is surfing with your buddies. It's a good time. I'm out here with my brother. John hadn't surfed pipe in nearly 2 winters at this point, so it was insane to have him out here this year and back in the lineup, especially on days like this where the possibility of getting absolutely obliterated by a cleanup set is very real. We were kind of just giggling at the fact that we're sitting furthest in from the crowd and there's waves breaking at third reef pipe, but as you can see, positioning is everything in a lineup. And those guys out there are taking the larger part of the whitewater on the head from those cleanup sets. It's backing off where we are, so we have not only the potential to catch the waves that they can't, those inside double ups, which are going to be more square and more hollow, but we are not having to duck dive and paddle as much as they are taking the full brunt on the outside. That being said, there is a risk that we do get washed all the way through to the beach from a cleanup set, but again, risk versus reward, you guys should be the judge and weigh that out. There we're noticing there's third reef sets coming in. Not a good sign for where we are, but we're holding the line anyway. Here's the point where we realize, hey, it's time to start moving out, get off the reef. This set is obviously going to come all the way through. And with that big crowd in front of you, now is the time to start positioning. I'm looking at everyone in front of me. Okay, I'm going to get out of the way of John in case he gets shot back. I'm going to get out of the way of this other guy in case he gets shot back. I believe that's Kalohe, and he just did a stand-on board duck dive. That's a pretty fun version of a duck dive, but it can go very badly very quickly. Now realizing, hey, the set is not backing off, I need to move out off the reef. I'm going to get out of the way of this guy in front of me. Situational awareness in the lineup, you guys, is everything. Like I said, just take a look at what's going on here. I have about 5 people in front of me, any one of them which could bail their board. I need to get out of their way. I need to deal with the set. I need to be constantly moving out. I need to be focusing on my duck dive and avoiding turbulence underwater. And then when I go to catch a wave, I need to watch out for backwash, other people, a host of different factors. Did the wave before create turbulence in front of me? Is it going too out to sea? All of this stuff takes time to become instinctual, which is kind of where I have it now. I can take a read of the entire lineup and get all that information and make a decision. For you guys, like I said earlier in the video, seeing the lineup, making your own decisions, possibly surfing where others aren't surfing, puts you in a better position to learn, because you then are not basing your decisions off of who's paddling for what wave or where they're sitting to catch waves. Hey, are they going to go? Are they going to miss it? This, that, the other thing. You are then have a clear read on the ocean. You have to force yourself to learn to read the ocean better. This is like John going on a wave on the inside there. Cleanup set gone, we skittered back inside, and it looks like the crowd has decided that we were a little too successful in catching waves on the inside, and they were moving in. That was a huge right. Days like this, hunting rights can be disastrous. And getting a wave here, you can see the bend in the wave there. It starts to go out to sea. Had to turn my board, got clipped by the lip. For me, sessions at pipe like this, it's kind of like an opportunist. That's the mindset I go out there with. Obviously, I'm always looking for something like the wave of the winter or the wave of my life, but there's so many good waves that get missed because people get too tunnel visioned in out there and go 5 hours looking for a specific wave. When situations like that are happening, that was Ballram there, he's always hunting the inside, and he gets insane waves every session, so you can maximize wave count. And whether you're looking for content or just practice, maximizing wave count is key. Looks like someone here rolling in from out the back. I'm just trying to get out of his way. And a whole nother aspect to the crowd or catching waves or being on the inside. I'm constantly looking to avoid other people, whether it's me getting caught inside behind them, being in a better position than them, deeper, or me being on the inside and them catching waves. I want to be out of their way. I don't want anyone to fall or get into a bad position because of me. I'm not turning sideways in front of people. I'm keeping my nose pointed straight out, and I'm duck diving under them or keeping out of their line on the wave. Looks like Kalohe right there just got a sick left. Again, look, he would have been out the back. We told him come to the inside, hunt the double ups, and he got a good wave there. This is the type of session you can see just the amount of paddling. The physicality is extremely high, but things like this also, when you have adrenaline involved, they build a big base endurance. And that's something that's happened for me over years of this sessions like this, 6-hour-long sessions, multiple times getting caught inside, sprinting to catch waves, sprinting to avoid other people, sprinting to get out of the way of a cleanup set, push all the way to the beach, paddling back out. That builds a huge base endurance. And I understand that for a lot of you, it may just be that you're going surfing on the weekends and you want to maximize practice time. I totally get that. And that's why I'll be making another video on the types of trainings and ways you can build endurance for paddling in your house without any equipment or in the gym, so that when the weekend rolls around, you are ready to have endless paddling endurance, or just enough so that your session isn't spent burning out and unable to capitalize wave riding time. Like, we all go out there to ride waves, not paddle and duck dive. So the more efficient you are at paddling and duck diving and saving energy on those, the more time you're going to spend actually riding waves. Right there is a good example of, I'll go back there for a second because I saw this guy going on this wave and I said, hey, I'm not going to paddle to the shoulder and get in his way, possibly get run over and possibly have him fall because of me. I'm going to sacrifice myself. I do this all the time. Obviously, I don't want to get caught inside and I don't want to get extra work, but here you can see I paddle towards the explosion because I'm not going to mess someone up and I'm not going to get hit by them, versus just maybe taking a little hold down or duck dive or a beat down. It's just not worth it. That was successful. It could have gone worse, but it didn't, so we're still on, and I'm going to get out of the way of this next set. Even here, you guys can see I'm still sticking to that inside line. People are scratching, hey, there might be a bigger one. They're paddling further and further out. As soon as the set ends, I turn and start heading inside again. Because usually after those big sets, the lineup clears, and that's when the good double ups come, as you can see here. Nice successful ride. Not quite the wave of my life, but a fun wave nonetheless with a ramp to finish. I love these types of sessions where I'm picking off waves, I'm having a good time, I'm socializing out there, it's happy hour in the lineup. As young McConaughey, high five success. You're watching your friends get barreled, you're getting barreled, and that's what surfing's about. Wow, that was a good wave. That's me taking my time, not looking back out, watching someone envious of the barrel they got. Duck diving under another surfer there, trying to get out of his way.
What is this thing? A closeout?
The classic, what is this thing? A closeout. A lot of times, I don't recommend this. If you're unsure, unless you're kind of at that higher intermediate or expert level to test those type of waves, best to just be choosing waves you know is probably going to be a success for you. But oftentimes when you are at a little bit higher level, those closeouts will change shape right at the last second, pull back on the reef out of the channel, and become really, really good rides. And many times they go unridden. So here and there, I'll give it a little test. This guy, that is not the closeout you want to go on. He rolled in from out the back. He had no choice. He was locked in. When the wave hit the first reef, there was nowhere to go. There's me telling Makana to go. That's another thing, you guys. If you're not in position to go on the wave, even though you may have priority, that's one of the younger guys out there. I have priority over him. That was a good wave, but I simply wasn't in position. That does not mean I should utilize taking the wave or going from a bad position. He was in the spot, and so he earned that wave. He was probably waiting for it. But there are a lot of other intricacies that go into a lineup and navigating the crowd, priority, whose turn is it, and so forth, which I'll just have to do another complete video on because that is a lot of details to go into. And this, right here, this is the classic. Go on a bad wave and kick out to see a bomb behind it. It happens to the best of us. Right here I realize, hey, I'm not going to make it past. What do? I turn away from the wave. I want to get as far away from the main exploding part as I can when it's a really big wave. I know I'm not going to duck dive it. I'm probably going to have to bail. So I scratch towards the beach. I'm making distance between myself, the shallowest part of the reef, and the main, most violent part of that breaking lip. The further away I can get away from it, the more off the reef I am, and the less turbulence I'm going to have to deal with. So obviously not ideal, but you guys are going to see how shallow it is here. Boom, and the reef is right there. I bailed here, I dove under, and if I'm in clean water, you guys, I do open my eyes. I look up, I'll pull back here for just a second so you guys can see. I go under and I look, take in my surroundings, double scoop, there's the reef along the bottom there. Look up, and this is so key, you guys. If you have clear water and you can see, these turbulence, the big plumes of white water that come down, that is what is going to get you really worked. The lighter parts of those turbulence, that's little entryways to the surface. So if you are in clear water and not white water, if you're in white water, then you're cooked. Just deal with the beat down and try to get to the surface as you can. I'll go over more techniques in another video on that, but if you can see and you do see these plumes of white water with the clear, lighter places between them, that is a direct entry to the surface and air. And you'll see here, I look up and I take advantage of one. Boom, straight to the light and up. Surface. Let myself get pulled a bit. All right, all good. Take in the next set. What's happening? How far in am I? Board back to me. Washed in pretty far. I'm good for a duck dive now. It looks like I might be done though. And I'm heading in. that's it for the episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a little something. I want to fine-tune these and really get into more of the pausing and kind of breaking down what exactly is happening. If you're able to take something away from this video, then that's perfect. That was my goal. If you were to learn something and achieve some of your goals better, then good all around. Enjoy the channel, and thank you so much for subscribing. Write down below in the comments what else you would like to see. Of course, I'll be doing more technique-specific videos, but I want to also do more exclusive content in real time like this video.